Hello everyone, we continue with Chapter 7, Part 2. We were in a forest a short distance away from Utsunomiya on the way to Nikko when we heard the news. So, said Otori, Utsunomiya has been captured by the Imperial Army? That's unexpected. Hijikata and Otori had stopped to talk over their next move after the scouts had brought news of Utsunomiya's fall. Otori looked quite serious, but Hijikata looked utterly unimpressed. Captured? Said Hijikata, more like they were scared enough of the Imperial Army to just bend over and take it. We show 'em we're scarier, they'll come running back. I mean, we are allowed to take castles that have capitulated, right, Mr. Infantry Magistrate, sir? Otori pursed his lips and frowned at Hijikata. It's not that I'm against going into battle, we are leading an army after all. But the main body and the rear guard are still on their way from Oyama. All I'm asking is that you wait until they catch up with us. Attempting to lay siege to a castle is folly beyond folly. We should... what kind of flowery drill manual did you pull that gem from? Asked Hijikata. Your favourite Western artillery book? Otori's frown deepened. I don't just study Western tactics, you know. Sun Tzu said much the same thing in The Art of War. Thus, the highest form of generalship is to balk the enemy's plans, the next best is to prevent the junction of the enemy's forces, the next in order is to attack the enemy's army in the field, and the worst policy of all is to besiege walled cities. End of quote, said Otori. In other words, we should only lay siege to the castle as a last resort. Attacking it head-on is foolish. If you're determined to be a fool, the best you can do is make sure your army is in the best condition possible, and thus, though we have heard of stupid haste in war, cleverness has never been seen associated with long delays. There is no instance of a country having benefited from prolonged warfare, said Hijikata, quoting. Remember that one? He's saying that it might get a little messy, but it's better to end your battles quick. Taking your sweet time just comes back to bite you in the ass. Hijikata, please don't do that, said Otori. I'm not asking you to wait long. They should be here in just a few days. Yeah, and what are you gonna do if we're here twiddling our thumbs waiting for the rest of your men when the Imperial Army shows up? If the Satsuma or Choshu bring out their big guns, then we're screwed. No two ways about it, said Hijikata. For the first time, Otori didn't have a ready rebuttal, and Hijikata pushed ahead. You want to miss this opportunity? Fine. I'll just take the advance guard and capture the castle myself. You'd have to be crazy to do that, said Otori. That's suicide. His voice rose in shock, but Hijikata just snorted derisively. Suicide? Fine, bring it on. It's easy enough to deal with a man who's fighting for his life, but try fighting a man who doesn't care if he lives or dies. His eyes shone with the excitement of a new challenge. No, it was something else. What I saw in his eyes wasn't a man rising to a challenge, but the mad glint of a man who was no longer interested in living. Well, I guess we'll see, said Hijikata. I'll take Utsunomiya Castle by tomorrow. His lips pulled back from his teeth in a feral grin, and he looked off toward Utsunomiya. With Hijikata like this, could we really win? April the 19th. Utsunomiya Castle was in turmoil. Our forces numbered around 2,000, while the castle had barely 700 guardsmen. The battle for Shimogawara Gate was especially intense, with 1,000 shogunate troops against only 400 guards. Although the shogunate soldiers easily outnumbered their opponents, the guards were able to use their defence fortifications to great effect, fighting the invaders to a standstill. Guns cracked and bullets flew across the battlefield as men screamed in pain. Hijikata turned to face the 200 men now under his direct command. "We can keep this up. I guess this is as good a time as any to attack the enemy line." Attack? What are you saying?" said a soldier. "They have guns." "Guns? You haven't seen guns until you've seen the ones the Satsuma Choshu Alliance has. They can hit a man from almost 200 meters away. Those guns out there can barely manage 80. Besides, taking a bullet or two won't kill you." That's crazy," said soldier number 2. The men stared back at him, stunned. Never would they have imagined that they might be given orders like these. Hijikata, on the other hand, stared back at them coldly. "What the hell did you come here to do? Last I checked, it was fight a war. If you're prepared to fight, you should be prepared to die. Am I wrong? So when I give the word, you're going to charge that line." He pointed toward the source of the bullets raining down on the battlefield. Hijikata's men turned pale, and many of them began to tremble. Eventually, one of them snapped. "I can't do this. I don't want to die here." He broke and turned to run. "Ah!" Hijikata's sword leapt from its scabbard and sliced across the back of the fleeing man. "Ah!" He fell to the ground, dead. The men watching swallowed. For a few short moments they were utterly silent. "Hey, he just killed one of his own men." "What is this?" said another soldier. "Is he crazy?" Hijikata let his cold eyes slide slowly across their ranks, and slowly the mumbling ceased. "Anyone else want to run? If you're too scared to fight, go ahead, be my guest. But anyone who runs will die by this sword. So either I kill you, or you take your chance out there. Up to you." His eyes were cold and dead. Not a man there believed for a moment that he wouldn't kill them without a second thought. "That man is a monster," said another soldier. With one final scowl, Hijikata turned back to the battlefield and took off across it. He ran through the hail of bullets and fell upon the men defending the gate like a vengeful god. "Ah! Ah!" His beloved sword, the Izumi no Kami Kanisada, dripped with fresh blood, but he swung it again and again, oblivious or uncaring. I hid myself in the shadows and watched. "Hijikata!" shouted Shimada. Just a little more and we might be able to take this gate." Shimada's face was smeared with dirt and blood as he ran up toward the commander. Great, keep it up, said Hijikata. I believe in you, Shimada. The guards fired desperately, but as Hijikata had said, their guns were old and inaccurate. Attacking men with guns head-on was a frightening prospect, but Hijikata seemed to be utterly unconcerned as he dodged and wove through them, his sword ending lives with each stroke. As a fury, he wasn't likely to die from a gunshot wound unless it struck a vital organ, and he healed so quickly that bullets were largely a temporary discomfort. Still, even if he'd been only human, I didn't doubt that he would have run into that hail of bullets just as fearlessly. His hair hadn't gone white yet, but it was still afternoon. It should have been difficult for him to even stand. But to watch him fight, you would never have known. Amazing, said one soldier. Is he even human? Said another. He looks more like a demon straight from hell. The mood among the men watching Hijikata fight began to change. None of them had likely ever seen a man fight so fearlessly in the face of gunfire, or even at all. His eyes glowed out from his blood-drenched face, and his arm never slowed. "Come on, men!" shouted Hijikata. "It looks like they're running out of bullets. How about you grow a pair and get over here?" He took a moment to roar over his shoulder before turning back to the important task of killing guards. His fearless charge seemed to have had an effect. "I think we might be able to do it. I think we might be able to win this fight," said one soldier. Yeah, you're right. We might be able to do it," said another. "Just follow the Shinsengumi. No, follow Hijikata." As their morale rose, so did their determination, and the fighting along the gate grew more intense. Then, just after the sun had passed its zenith, "It's opening!" shouted one soldier. "The castle gate is opening!" "Did we do it?" asked another. "Did we win?" The news spread along the line like wildfire. "Took a little longer than I thought, but, well, no, guess this is just about right," said Hijikata. At last he relaxed, and I saw a grin of victory on his face. "That was amazing, Commander," said Shimada. "You really are a true samurai. Watching you run straight into those bullets, I'm in awe." "Hey, kissing my ass isn't going to get you anywhere, Kai," said Hijikata. "Besides, the castle still hasn't really fallen. Can't let our guard down." "Right." Oh? Before we'd realized it, the soldiers who'd been so reluctant to fight not so long ago had surrounded us, all of them speaking to one another in excited murmurs. "Sir, that was amazing. It was like you were Yoshitsune Minamoto reborn. You are truly the commander of the Shinsengumi." And Yoshitsune Minamoto was a general from the late Heian period. "We had you all wrong, sir," said another soldier. "We're so sorry. You only killed that man so that you could lead us to victory. You did it to ensure none of us would leave." "Sir," said yet another soldier, "it is an honor to fight under you. You are a true samurai." The curiosity and fear we'd seen on their faces when we first met was gone now, replaced with respect and adulation. "What's gotten into them?" asked Shimada. Now that the battle was over, Hijikata was beginning to look a little ill, and his mood was souring with his health. Are you all right? He'd pushed himself so hard, and during daylight hours, that his body had likely reached its limit. Besides, he'd been showered with who knew how much blood. The bloodlust might start up at any moment. It seemed that only sheer force of will kept him standing. "Of course I'm fine. Can't die till the castle falls." He rubbed a fist across his face, wiping away sweat and blood at the same time, then turned back to the soldiers. "All right, men, follow me. We're going to attack the castle before dawn." "Yes, sir," said the soldiers.